issues. You know, women, we can't attach ourselves to what men do and then blame one another or say ha 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 about what's going on in a horrible relationship with a horrible man. He's a horrible man. That's just it. It's not Giselle's fault. It's not Monique's fault for calling it out. He just is that horrible guy. He just happens to have the occupation that shouldn't be horrible guys. A pastor of a church. Hi guys, welcome back to Being Simone Iman. This is Simone Iman, and over here I talk about whatever I'm interested in at the moment. Sometimes I'm doing television show reviews, movie suggestions, product hauls, product recommendations, fashion hauls, just whatever I got going on. So if those are things that are interesting to you and you're feeling my vibe or my style, please consider subscribing to my channel, and then also hit the bell notification so that you know every time I upload a video. Y'all, when I tell you that's a mouthful. Anyway, this was part 2 of the reunion of Housewives of Potomac, and we were left on such a high from the reading that was Monique Samuels upon Giselle Bryant, and I feel like they gave us something this part 2, but it wasn't part 1, but it wasn't horrible. So anyway, the episode opens up with them still firing off on Giselle's ass about Jamal, and she's just very calculated, and we're fine. She actually, you know, when I was watching it, I said she channeled her inner Ashley Darby. We're fine. Shit falling apart on camera. We're fine. What do you mean? I'll talk to him. She didn't say she was going to talk to him about what was said about him. She's like, well, when I talk to him later, we'll talk. Like, very vague. Very I trust my man vibes. But sis, honestly guys, and we're all speculating and watching these shows, but just with the chemistry that was or wasn't during the actual season, paired with what Monique said about them, it was just kind of like the jig is up. I just wasn't buying it. One thing that I can't say, and you know, Jamal did his whole clap back with his upside down binder. One thing that I can say about this is neither Monique's shit with calling it out and talking about it, nor Giselle's shit with him being an adulterer, or even if they're not married, because he was big on that language because they're not married. But even if he's having, you know, when he was having extramarital affairs, or that there's a question about him and Giselle being in a monogamous relationship, that's Jamal Bryant's shit. You know, nobody made him create this, you know, persona where people doubt your fidelity with your wife or your significant other. You know, nobody made those choices to have outside children on their wife or to be sleeping with someone in their congregation. These are all choices that Jamal Bryant made. This is his shit. So because people discuss it, that doesn't make Monique this horrible person or Giselle this dumbass woman. This is this man's issues. You know, women, we can't attach ourselves to what men do and then blame one another or say ha 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 about what's going on in a horrible relationship with a horrible man. He's a horrible man. That's just it. It's not Giselle's fault. It's not Monique's fault for calling it out. He just is that horrible guy. He just happens to have the occupation that shouldn't be horrible guys. A pastor of a church. But I digress. I really feel like Giselle could not handle the heat from Monique, so she didn't engage her because it was just so much. You could tell by her posture. Even when she's talking to Karen, while she's very defensive, the posture, the slumped overness, it just was cringy the way she was sitting in that chair, and they looked comfortable. Those were some comfortable chairs. The set was gorgeous. Like, it was all in her body language. Giselle couldn't handle those moments. Then they break for lunch, and Robin and Giselle go click up together to talk about what Monique just delivered to their ass. And really, y'all, they ain't had nothing to say. They tried to come up with some stuff. It was very late, lame, shame. It was very, you know, we don't know what else to say. It was childish. And that's just what it was. They were trying to save those faces. Those hard 40, old ass 50 faces. And I'm no ageist, okay? I don't believe in ageism. I've been calling that out every episode leading up until now. But it was a good read, Karen. Bravo. Like, they was trying to save face, and it was really nothing that they could say on the, which I love the behind the scenes footage, but it was nothing they could say to save the moment. Like, Monique came ready. She did what she had to do. Case what Wendy said, she fastened it. Okay, Monique had fastened that. It was nothing else for them to say. Speaking of the behind the scenes footage, I love that like copper bronzy moment of a robe, that silk robe Monique had on. And then when we come back, they move on to Ashley and Michael the Mess Darby. The mess. He is a damn mess. We found out that he's not coming to the reunion because he's at a wedding, but the way he acted the last time he filmed, I just feel like he's tired of making an ass out of himself on national television. I too am tired of Michael Darby making an ass out of himself on national television. When Andy introduces all of the, the fact that we're going to explore Ashley's marriage and relationship, he's remorseful. This woman is sitting here 6 months pregnant by this man who have issues with infidelity, with grabbing other men's asses, not women. He don't pinch a woman, but he pinching the butts of people who work for Bravo. Why do he not have any self-control? He needs to stay away from the open bar, the mini bar, the gay bar. He needs to stay away from all the bars because he cannot handle himself in these settings, and it's disappointing and upsetting to me and my homegirl. Andy asked if Wendy regrets the way she screamed at Ashley, and she said she was just triggered by seeing Ashley with her baby, and then she went down this shame spiral for not bringing her baby, which we all knew. I think it was great that she apologized to her and they were able to move forward. But I thought they would have pressed harder on that, because maybe because they went over the whole colorist, aggressive, using that terminology when talking to dark-skinned black women. I'm figuring that's why they didn't press back on Wendy so far, but they literally split that argument between Wendy and Ashley between 2 episodes. So I was kind of like, they didn't go in on that as much as I thought they would. And then they start talking about Ashley and her marriage, and Andy makes it a point to say, you're so calm in dealing with all of this. And I think honestly it's because she's a yogi. She's very into yoga and spirituality, and she's just not easily vexed. Like, not saying Ashley don't get hardcore and have a nasty mouth comparable to Candace's, but when it comes to Michael, she is very specific in how she defends him and how she defends her family, especially since they've had their baby. It's like her and Michael are the green-eyed bandits. They cannot be divided. And I mean, it's commendable she there. While you there, you might as well fight for it. Now when she leave, that's when we're gonna get the real tea. But from what it seems, and that's what people say in the groups and stuff, she's very calculated. Ashley ain't no dummy. She was trying to get a posting up, which I'm disappointed to find out she didn't follow up on. But it's like, hey, I got all these kids. This is a millionaire. Child support, alimony gonna be banging. So if he cut up again and I have to walk out this door, I'm not leaving empty-handed. Okay? She gonna take the condo and the building. It's hers. All hers. She says that she's so forgiving with Michael because when they were separated, she did her own thing, and I guess she had a relationship with someone else. And while I get that, girl, you think Michael wasn't having relationships? If he can do all that while y'all married, what you think he was doing when y'all was separated? Sir, he wasn't forgiving you because of what you did. He was forgiving you because of what he knew he had done also. Amen, somebody. And then Andy asked about the rumors about Katie. I don't know if y'all have heard about that before, but Katie is like making it seem like she had a sexual relationship with one of the housewives. Gross. Like, with who? I can't even see that. With who? Who, son? I was thinking Ashley, but when they said it wasn't Ashley, people be saying Sharice, child, and I close my app when I read people say it was Sharice. And then they start talking about his, affair in the hotel with the stripper, and Candace is like, they had sex. Mind your business, okay? Because your husband said y'all wasn't having sex, and neither one of y'all describe y'all sex lives as if it's something to, rant and rave about, Candace. So really mind yours. Mind it. And then Andy asked about the parallels between Ashley trying to save her family and Giselle saving hers, and Karen is like, I'm all for it. And she started all this subtle grand dame-esque shade at Giselle, and Giselle cannot take it. Giselle cannot handle it. And she literally goes on to say that Karen is full of shit, because Karen is like, I'm all for family, but I just want it to be a real family. Me too. But this is my thing about Giselle. Who is dating a pastor on TV cussing like that? She's full of S. The next episode, she gonna say, get the F out of here. She like has a very foul mouth for someone who has such a strong affiliation with the faith-based community. That's why that shit with Jamal and that whole we got an image and all of that, that don't resonate with me, because you say that, but you do completely different. It don't add up. Make it make sense. Giselle was absolutely very defensive when speaking with Karen, but after Monique had laid the smack down, all she could be was defensive. Y'all, this camera is doing some crazy lighting things, so bear with me. I'm gonna fix it by next week, y'all, I promise. And then they start talking about Michael being Clark Kent, grabbing somebody's ass on camera from season 1. Who went and found that footage, okay? But Robin tells us that that's what she was talking about at the last reunion, that the producers had confided in the women on the cast that Michael had done that to somebody else. And it's like, girl, if it walked like a duck, quack like a duck, it's a duck. That's one of the things I could agree with Candace on. Like, why is it true about him, true about Andrew, but not true about the cameraman that sued y'all? It's habitual at this point. Like, this is what he does. He grabs men's asses. I don't know. What is wrong with Michael, y'all? She says that the producer, that she understands the context when Andy brings up the fact that Michael has grabbed someone else's butt before. And she's like, he was really flirtatious with my husband, pause. And he calls my husband Zaddy, extra pause. You was okay with those two factors? The fact that this man calls your husband Zaddy and he flirts with him? Hard stop. Why? Why is that okay and permissible? Look, I'm not a part of the relationship. I get it. I'm not Ashley Darby or Michael Darby. Thank God. But just as a person in a monogamous relationship, can't nobody call my baby daddy daddy but my babies. And me occasionally. But what is it? It just, there seems to be such naivety. I forget how to pronounce the word, but she just seems so damn naive. But then it also seems calculated, because she then mentions the fact that if he does it again, she's leaving and she's on baby number 2. It's too much going on. It's too much going on. She says that, you know, it wasn't malicious when he grabbed the producer on season 1, you know, his ass. But then Andy's like, well, we talked to him and he said that it was like horrible for him. Gag. Some ain't adding up right. And then Candace is just like, basically, girl, he did it. Like, stop playing with us. As much as they be trying to say Karen full of shit, she ain't the only one. Y'all be dancing around these conversations and these facts, and honestly, sis, it's tiring. Like, we see. But we gonna get into that, what the camera's showing, what these girls find to be true, because it don't add up. She says that they don't have a prenup anymore. She didn't pursue the post-up. So basically, Ashley gonna walk away a millionaire. She gonna be like Jeff Bezos' wife. And then we get to the Grand Dame. Let me tell you, Karen had a breakout season this year. I don't know if it was her trip back to Surrey County and us finding out where she came from, the candidness when she was drinking, her confidence being boosted so much with her new look. It probably just was a combination of all of that, you guys. But I love to see it. We gotta give it up for the Grand Dame. She had a breakout season. And also, when they started discussing her and Ray, that literally was the most genuine storyline of the entire season. Like, beside the fight, which bored us to death and was dragged so long, literally and figuratively, like, I wanted to see what the progression with Karen and Ray would be like. It interested me. When Ray told her he wasn't in love with her, when Ray couldn't tell her I love you in like episode 1 or 2, like, I needed to hear more. I wanted more of that. I love that for Karen. It was a moment in Surrey County. It was a moment when she was off that fireball and she was just letting her hair down. That gained so much mass appeal with the audience. And then Robin asked her why she didn't want to share with Robin what her night was like beforehand when she was off fireball. And Karen gave a nice little answer. I was hungover, but really she don't mess with you. Every time y'all get an opportunity to embarrass her, to berate her, y'all take it. Y'all love to come for Karen, and at the jugular, y'all know you repeat the most horrendous things that she said to you, that she shared with you, that she's confided with you in, talking about her husband's genitalia, and you expect her to just be, oh, Kiki, let me tell you what crazy shit I did and said last night. Come on, Robin, you can't be that dumb. Anyway, and then Andy has to ask about Ray's genitalia. Y'all, I don't want to talk about Ray's genitalia. Just like Wendy needs to stop talking about the sexual nature of the relationship with Karen and Ray. Why do you care? She's like, I only mentioned it twice. Y'all, I don't think so. I think Wendy talked about their sexual things. I think she talked about Karen busting it open for sure at least a couple times. Like, she downplayed that a lot, but whether you said it once, twice, or 10 times, it was inappropriate and you look stupid. Like, who cares about what Karen and Ray is doing in a institution, in a bedroom? She said Ray asked, you know, they talked about it. Andy asked her what was Ray's feelings when he found out that she had talked about their financial situation on camera, and she said Ray asked her how much she owed him. A lot. But she said when she thought about it, you know, this man that helped me raise my children, send my children to college, we have a family, like, you don't owe me anything. That's what I was supposed to do. Absolutely. Where's Juan Dixon? Why he got Robin paying these taxes back on her own? Then they started talking about all of the women who have been on the show and how they're in season 5 and they're making money and how their husbands feel about it, y'all. They was hot comb on a gas stove pressed when Monique was talking about Chris's investment portfolio, her investing in her businesses. Their eyes was rolling like bowling balls. That's the gag, that's the tea, that's the issue for all of them. It's a lot of jealousy on that stage, y'all. And I'm not one of those people who just throw out that word just in an asinine way. Oh, you jealous, you jealous. It's clear. The way they acted at her lake house, the way they, you know, approached her when she first got on the show and she let them know she had 4 homes. It's the financial disproportionate of what's on that stage. Monique can walk away from this today and maintain her lifestyle. Can any of them on that stage say the same besides Ashley? Because, you know, Michael Darby is a millionaire. No, they are super even Candace, you can tell the way. And then this shit with Candace, how she was just sneak dissing Monique. Everybody talking about Monique therapy ain't work. Monique never broke stride. As many digs as Candace took at her between these last 2 parts of this reunion, Monique paid her dust. And she had to eat that dust. It's chalky, it's gritty. And that's why your face all screwed up. Anyway, we getting off script. Karen then admits that she was, you know, very protective of her image and stuff while her parents were alive. And I can get that. Like, I can get jiggy with that. Like, my mama and them might see this. I can't be on here acting crazy. But since her parents have passed, it's like, let me bust it open real quick. Where's the fireball? And then she had one last for Giselle, because Giselle's like, this is the real her. This is the real her. Karen said, don't be mad because I'm growing and you not. Facts. Facsimile. Giselle has been the same messy broad for 5 seasons. Same relationship issues for 5 seasons. She been working on this house almost 3 seasons. When you gonna grow up, Giselle? And then they start talking about the fight. So, I don't know. It just they talk about Monique. First of all, this is Monique's scene, but we're talking about the fight. They talk about T'Challa, y'all. When Monique lost T'Challa, I was crying with her on Instagram. But Candace was still, how you talking shit about the bird? That damn bird didn't fly away. Girl, why do you care? You fly away. And then Monique tells the Plotgate story, and all their faces is screwed up. But Candace confirmed all this on a live already. Giselle is like, this didn't happen, very much so trying to deny it. Giselle has a really bad problem with accepting herself as being the villain on the show. Like, that's who you are. You keep the shit going, you keep shit stirring up. Own it, stand in it. Every time she get in the house, she's like, oh, blame me. Yeah, you said it, it's on camera. Like, ugh. And then Andy starts talking, you know, he's setting up the scene for talking about the fight, and he's like, Bravo doesn't condone violence, y'all. I wasn't feeling that, because I felt like he was trying to make it seem like we don't condone violence, but we showed all the footage because it was important to the story. No, y'all showed all of the footage for ratings. Let's be clear. Like, don't set it up like y'all don't condone violence. If y'all didn't condone violence, it would not have been played. Anyway, they asked her about taking a picture with Sharice at the baby shower, and I feel like, you know, I don't like some of my coworkers, but if we gotta take a picture for the job, I'm gonna take a picture. And I'm gonna stand next to anybody who I don't like, and I'm gonna go sit my ass down. She said she didn't even talk to Sharice the whole time. What is the issue? She also owned that she overreacted at the fire pit. She said she felt awful when she watched it back because she knew she had overreacted, but Candace couldn't even accept that. Candace was still pressed and mad. Now this is where things get validated for Monique, for me. As Monique is talking about what happened in the fight, Monique says it is when she does this. All of the women say this did not happen. And then what goes on? Bravo rolls that beautiful being footage. Literally, what Monique said happened. Candace did sweep under her chin like that. These women are so fixated on being against Monique that they are not even willing to open their minds and think maybe that did happen. Play the footage. Can we see? Like, if you're not sure, ask questions. Don't just be so, you know, hell-bent. Like, especially people who have nothing to do with it, like Robin, like Wendy. I get Giselle, she just don't like Monique. But Wendy, like, come on sis, you gotta fall back and open all them degrees. Come on now, man. So then they talk about the fighting and Candace having the broken glass in her hand and that's why she didn't let her go, because, you know, I gotta make sure I'm gonna be safe. She got broken glass in her hand. That didn't happen. What happens? Bravo plays it. The girl is fighting with a broken wine glass in her hand. Like, I really want to know how they feel when they watch this and they see everything that Monique said actually happened. Like, these hoes need to be calling her line, texting her, DMing her, sending her edible arrangements, because they were wrong. And the footage proves that they were wrong. Like, literally, there needs to be some accountability for all of them next season, and somebody needs to apologize to Monique for trying to ice her out unjustly, for ostracizing her and making her feel like she was in this alone when she absolutely was not. Like, and that's just where I'm at with it. We all know Monique got physical with her. She flipped her hair. But we cannot act like putting your hands in somebody's face is not provoking. It's not provocative. She has to own that. Anyway, then they're asking her why she didn't, you know, Andy asked about the meeting after the fight when she had on the beautiful balloon sleeve shirt and the beautiful wave bob. Anyway, you know I love her fashions. And Monique is like, well, I apologize to them for putting them in harm's way. Who apologizes to the person that they beat up, though? In my 32 years, I've never heard of anybody calling the person they just got in a fight with, unless it's like a sibling or a close family member, and saying, I'm sorry. So pay that dust as well. And then Candace starts crying, of course. Now, she been talking shit all hour. All 6 hours they had probably been there already, and she starts crying and she says that she couldn't watch the footage and she was embarrassed and she is traumatized. And here goes Giselle. Well, people keep telling her to get over it. You know, people can't say what her emotional and mental stress is like. Granted, but then they're judging Monique because Monique isn't emotional about it. Well, if it's good for the goose, it's good for the gander, right? You can't say Monique isn't emotional enough if we can't say that Candace is too emotional. How does that work? Make it make sense. And then Candace cries like a baby off the stage with her folded tissue, and we commence to talk to Monique, and Monique is like, I ain't like that. I'm not wired like that. Y'all not finna have me up here crying and you've been bullying me for 4 seasons. No. Anyway, you guys, it was a good episode. I'm looking forward to the ending of the 90-minute episode. The part 3, they say Chris Samuels cuts up. I love to see it. Robin is like, I'm glad Juan Dixon isn't here. Are you? Are you glad? Anyway, you guys, please be sure to like, share, subscribe, comment. Let me know what you thought about this week's episode. We're going to get into RHOA. And then, y'all, I watched a very cringy live with Monique's ex-friend Gigi. That whole stupid. Anyway,